Hello everybody, a warm welcome. My name is Pamela Aculey and we've got another fantastic episode of the Big N.O podcast. Now, we've all faced certain levels of adversities or setbacks or struggles, and this podcast is about exploring them, how you felt in the moment and how you overcame them and how you turn those no's into next opportunities. I have got an amazing guest with me today, and her name is Faye Edwards, and I've been trying to get Faye on this podcast for so long, so I'm super excited that she's here. She is a fitness influencer, celebrity trainer, and she's just an absolute badass. I mean, I've been following her for so long and her energy is so infectious. I can't wait for you to meet her. She's a group exercise manager at Third Space Islington. And also, this lady is one of the trainers on Davina McCall's fitness online platform. And a warm welcome, Faye, to the Big N.O podcast.
Wow, that was more than warm. That was hot.
Thank you.
I'm humbled. Thank you so much. What an introduction. I'm so pleased to be meeting you.
I am so happy to meet you in person because we're Facebook friends, Instagram friends, and I think in this day and age, you feel like you know someone because you see them popping up on your feed all the time, and you pop up on my feed for like the good reasons. Let me just put that out there. And for me, before I started, my company, Just Like Me Books, I was in the fitness industry, still am in the fitness industry, and that's going to like 14 years this year.
Wow.
So whenever I see someone in the fitness industry, specifically female, black, I'm always just like, yes. And like I said in the introduction, your energy is infectious. I can feel your energy like virtually. And I love what you're creating. I love how you are helping people. And I can just see the pure joy and passion when you do it. So I'm so thankful that you exist. And I'm so humbled that we get to have this conversation today. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm blown away by all that, and feelings are mutual as well. So It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. So let's start. I'm an author, so I like to start at the beginning. So if you can tell us a little bit about, your childhood, where you're from, just to kind of set the scene to begin with.
So I'm originally from North London.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a house with my mum and my sister, and I've had a very good upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful for all that, all the love that I've received from both my mum and my dad, the support, the encouragement, the people in my life from childhood to now have been a part of who I am today. So that's pretty much it. Now I've moved out of London and have just immersed myself in the fitness industry, loving what I'm doing. I don't really like talking about myself so much, so this is going to be a challenge. But that's it briefly.
Do you know what's really interesting as well? Because when we were communicating via like messages and emails, something stood out that you put in your email. I don't know if you probably remember this, but you said something like, I'd love to come on the podcast. Can you just give me like a little bit more information because I really want to add value to what you're doing. And I just thought, oh my God, this is someone who, regardless of whether you're teaching a class or doing a talk or doing a podcast, you want to bring your 100% self to that environment, to that situation. And I absolutely love that. And I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the introduction. You literally are so infectious. Doesn't matter what you're doing, who you're doing it with, you put so much energy into that. So that, when I saw that, I was like, I'm definitely getting
that was definitely sold. I love
now.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I love your attitude, but have you always had this kind of mindset, or have you had to like really work on it as you've, through experience or through age or circumstances, or have you always naturally been quite a like optimistic, positive person?
Yes, I would say I have been, and a lot of that influence comes from my mum, who she's a phenomenal woman who is so strong, has empowered me all my life. Even when I was young, she would buy us self-help books. She does poetry. I remember Maya Angelou being a big influence on her, so it became a big influence on me. So I've always been fortunate and blessed enough to have people empowering me. So I've always had that optimistic, positive attitude. But like you said, with age, with experience, you go through certain things in life, and I feel yes, with age you gain more wisdom. Still a lot more for me to gain. I'm not saying that I
always learning.
Always learning, forever learning.
Yeah.
I'm open to learning and open to being better.
Yeah.
So it has helped. And because I have understood the benefits of having that attitude, it's always encouraged me to be like that more. And it's like I'm working on building myself up so that when those not so great things happen and there's tough times, I've just got more resilience. So it's very, very important that I stay in that mindset of, you know, positivity, optimism, strength, but also it's important to be a realist as well. I say a lot, hope for the best, expect the worst. What do I say? Let me figure out. Expect the worst, but hope for the best. So yeah, I've always had that attitude.
And I think like that mindset as well, it's almost like a muscle. You have to keep training, and it gets stronger and stronger.
Yep.
And your mindset muscle is strong because I know, again, through the world of social media, I saw a picture of you last year, maybe the year before, when you were in hospital. You were quite seriously ill.
Yeah.
And I remember you, I'm paraphrasing now because it was a long time, but basically you were saying that you were still showing this level of gratitude, even though that you were seriously ill and you were probably very scared as well, but you were still showing this level of gratitude, and you were just basically saying like, I'm working my mindset. That's what's going to keep me strong and positive. And that's a really hard thing to do when you are faced with illness or uncertainty. And was it during lockdown as well, I think?
It was outside of lockdown. It was after lockdown. Yeah.
So the world is already quite worried about our health and where the world is going to. So if it's all right with you, could you share a little bit about that experience and what it taught you and what you've learned from that? When
I was working as a group exercise manager for Third Space, by the way, I've got a new job since then from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very recent. 6 years I was group exercise manager and I never had a sick day. And I had that attitude of I'm strong. I even certain times thought I was a bit invincible. And when I got ill, I was off work for a month. When I got ill, I was like, wow, it was like an out of body experience. And I just took it for what it was. You mentioned I was scared, but I actually was just, I don't think I was scared or like, I was just like, oh, I just don't like being like this. And you know what I thought about a lot? I thought about other people. I thought about the pain I was in. I thought about how do people cope with long-term illnesses, people who really struggle. I'm fit and healthy. How do they cope? Like I felt so bad for people. It was so weird why I was thinking that constantly.
Do you think it was because that you were starting to have a bit of a understanding and empathy?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I'd never experienced pain like that. I didn't eat. I was experiencing like stomach cramps. I had pneumonia in both my lungs. I was like, where the hell has this come from? I was just so confused. My mum was looking after me, and it's not until my best friend had told me, oh yeah, your mum was crying down the phone. I've never seen my mum cry. I think at my grand's funeral, but she's so strong. I never see her show that emotion. And I was like, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm proper ill. My mum cried. She didn't do it in front of me. She didn't show it in front of me. So then, a funny story. When I got into hospital, I had the worst case of paranoia. Do you know what I thought? I thought that I wasn't as ill as they said I was and that they were trying to kill me.
What?
Yeah, it was so weird. Like I thought it was the whole conspiracy going on in my head, thinking, right, because of COVID, I feel that they're saying I'm really bad. I mean, I felt really bad, but I feel like they were saying I'm worse than what I am, and they're gonna kill me and then use me as an example in the media and say, look, it doesn't matter how fit and healthy you are, you can still die from this. Wow. I don't know where it came from, and I'm not that person that goes into like, this is all a conspiracy theory and I'm paranoid and I'm this. It just came into my head. Like that's how, like, no, this can't be happening to me. I'm not this. I'm strong. I'm not in hospital with, you know. Yeah, it was just so weird. It was the weirdest experience. But then on top of that, I was so, like, I remember when I was able to get out of bed, I just looked at myself. I'd lost all this weight. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I haven't trained for a whole month. I look forward to training again. And when I got better, I remember the first day I walked to work, I was skipping. I was so happy. I couldn't wait. Even when I was slowly getting better, but wasn't there. I was like, Mum, can I go back to work? She was like, Faye, look at you. Look in the mirror. You can't go back to work. I was so excited to go to work. I couldn't wait. And my first training session, couldn't do much at all. But I didn't think, oh, I'm so unfit, I've got to start again. I was just so grateful. I said, look at my body, I can do a lunge. It was a body weight lunge, but I was so happy to do a body weight lunge. And what it taught me is obviously gratitude. I practice gratitude every second of the day. Grateful to have a body, grateful to be well again. Grateful for everything, and I just really had a sense of wanting to always just stay present. And ever since I've been ill, I don't really think about the future so much. I stay present. I stay grateful. I don't train for aesthetics. I train to feel good.
So how did you actually get into the fitness industry?
So before fitness, I was in youth and community work. I'm very passionate about, and I still am passionate about, working with young people. So I was working in a respite centre for children with severe learning difficulties and disabilities. And then I got to a point where I just didn't feel great about myself. And I was like, oh, I suppose I've got to do something about this. I suppose I've got to go to that place called gym. I suppose I've got to sign up and be a member. I just wasn't enthusiastic about it. And I went and signed up. I didn't really know what to do. Then I found classes. I started off being obsessed with spinning classes. And then one time I turned up to the gym and the spin instructor wasn't there. The receptionist said to me, oh, try another class. It's called Zumba. And I was like, what? That sounds rubbish. I don't want to do Zumba. Anyway, so I went, and it was this massive sports hall, and I'm telling you, it was like over 100 people. It's massive. That's when Zumba was big. And the music, the warm-up was like Afro beats. And I was like, what? What do you know about Afro beats? I was like, I loved it. I fell in love. And then it became, you know, like it became your habit. And the instructor, she had a dance fitness company. Long story short, she recruited me to, she approached me to say, oh, do you want to become an instructor? Got trained up. Then I was working, and then in the evenings or mornings or whatever, I was teaching on the side. So I was still doing youth and community work, and then doing my fitness work on the side. And then slowly that transition, that I got the opportunity at Third Space, back then it was Reebok Sports Club, to become a group exercise manager. And it just, opportunities just kept coming forward. And yeah, that's how I got into it. It was purely by mistake. Like I didn't plan to be a trainer.
It's just circumstances. And I think sometimes, like, you have this idea when you're younger, like, I'm going to go in this direction, I'm going to do this. That was certainly the case with me. I was like, I'm going to be an investment banker, I'm going to earn loads of money, blah, blah, blah. And then life was just like, you're not meant to do that. Or you're meant to do it for a while. And you're meant to go through some shit. And then that shit's going to, you're going to learn from that, and then you're going to apply that to the next stage of your life. And then you're going to learn from that. And it's kind of like this snowball effect of learning. But have you always felt included in the fitness space? Because the reason I'm asking you this, and this is just my personal experience, I can find the fitness industry quite cliquey. So we have events, and you see the same kind of groups and the same people organising those events, and then you have award ceremonies, and rightly or wrongly, I mean, you tend to find the same people are winning the same awards, and then you're trying to get your foot in the door. And let's be honest, I do find it really cliquey, really cliquey. And I feel like sometimes you have to even work that one step harder or two steps harder to prove yourself. At the end of the day, who are you proving yourself to, and why are you doing that? But I've gone into spaces where I felt so alienated and so, like, that imposter syndrome hits me really hard, because I'm just like, I don't look like them. I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not invited to these kind of spaces. And it's just like, how can we change that if you think that's an issue? Yes, it is definitely an issue. I 100% feel like that. And I've been in many spaces where I've felt uncomfortable or not included. But again, because I feel like that, and I'm aware many people feel like that, I feel that
let me be a representation. So when I have got the opportunity to be in spaces that I know I'm the minority and I don't feel in my comfort zone, I am going to still stand strong, and I'm still going to show up, represent, be that positive energy that and light that I know that I am, and not let that stop me. Not let that stop me. And I've been in situations where I'm just like, so for example, influencer events, I've been invited to influencer events, but I've felt sometimes I've been invited there to tick a box.
Yes.
And I know I'm the only one there that looks like me. I'm the only one who's of, of different ethnicity. I'm the only one who's got a certain shape or so, whatever. I'm aware of it, but I don't let that, take away the experience that I can have. I don't let it stop me. There was one time I was at this influencer event and we all had to wear the same outfit. So they kitted us out. It was this belly top and leggings, and I was like, oh, I don't do belly tops, but I don't feel comfortable, but it is what it is. I hadn't had my armpits waxed. I was like, oh, this is pig. Like, everyone just looks beautiful. Everyone's just like, oh, and then I'm like, oh no. And then they were taking photos of us, right? And they're like, can you all ladies have your hands? I was like, oh, damn. Allow me today, please. And I'm like, I really don't fit in.
There's Faye.
But I was like, I don't care. I was just like, all right, it is what it is. Like, I may feel uncomfortable, but I make the choice to just own myself. Yeah. So what take me as I am. If it is a month that I haven't waxed my armpits, it's tough.
And also, you don't have to.
I don't have to. Do you know what I mean? And then the same event, right? I was standing there talking to two girls, and two beautiful blonde girls. We're having a nice time. A photographer comes along, and he's going around the event taking pictures. The guy did this to me. He was like, and then he was like, can I just take them too? And I just like slid away, and I was like, wow. I was like, it's cool. Do you know what? It's cool because my armpits ain't waxed today and I'm not feeling my best. So I don't really feel that. Even though people might see on my social medias, I do a lot of filming and videos and photography, like whatever jobs on like digital jobs and stuff like that. I don't always feel that comfortable in front of the camera, even though I'm like, yeah, but it's not. I'd rather be in person in a class and just, So
if that same situation happened again now, and the photographer's just like, okay, what would you do?
Good question. I know I would make a funny comment, and I'll just say, you don't want me to break your lens? Or I'd make him feel awkward, but I'll do it in a fun banter way, and I'll make it obvious, and I'll say it really loud, and then I'll make it. Or I wouldn't just, it would still be positive. I would indirectly give you a little, I see what you're doing there, but I'll make you laugh. I've been in many situations where I've felt excluded, but it just encourages me to just show up more.
I love that, and I commend you for that, but there's a lot of people who would not like you, who would not try and turn that negative into a positive and be like, you know what? I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to just do my thing. I'm not going to let you affect my confidence. And confidence is a big issue, which we're going to talk about. But I don't think I would have been able to do that. I think that it will still affect me to this day. Maybe not as much, but it will still affect me in the sense that if I was to go to an event and people are taking pictures, I know, me being me, that part of my brain would be like, oh, they're not going to want you in the picture, so like just make your excuses now. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's such a, it's really sad that another human can make someone else feel so small because of what they deemed beauty to be or sexiness or whatever it is. And for you to have the courage to be like, you know what, I'm not going to let it affect me. I think that takes a lot of courage, but I also feel like so many people would be like, oh, I wish I could be like that, but I can't.
It's a tough one, and that's why I work so hard on when I train people or when I talk about training or clients or class participants, I really focus on mindset, and every person needs to work on their self-worth, because when you build up that self-worth and self-love, nothing can break that wall. And I know there's certain things that have happened that, like that experience, I got this shield and it just bounces right off because I've learned to just love myself for who I am, so no one can take that away from me. So it's down, the responsibility lies with the individual. Unfortunately, there are humans that are not kind. There's humans that are going to say things that will affect you. But the responsibility lies with us. We have to work on ourselves. That's the only way. That I haven't got a right answer. I know it sounds a bit tough love.
No, I don't know. I don't think there is a right answer, though.
There is, that's just the way it is. Yeah. That's why it's so important to build up our resilience. That's why it's so important to love ourselves first. Because who else is going to do that? So that way, if you get that negative comment, you're so confident with your worth that it doesn't affect you. It still may hurt your feelings. We're human beings. We have feelings. It's going to hurt. We're always going to hurt. But you can make the choice to brush it off, you know? I talk about that experience lightly. Like, I find it funny. Like, I'm just like, wow. Shame on you, not on me, because I know I'm great and I'm beautiful. I know these things. You don't have to tell me. I'll take my own damn selfie. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a deep, but I know some people are not like that. So I hope that I can empower people to know that they are enough, they are beautiful, they are strong. No one can, no one can affect them unless you allow them to. Like, that's just that's what I feel like my purpose is. Like, I want that to be my job. Every person I make contact with, I would just want to rub off that energy onto them and that confidence that I have onto them.
So what does confidence look like for you?
Confidence is not allowing insecurities or other people's judgments to affect you, because even though I'm a confident person, I still have insecurities. I can still be hurt by words. I can, still have things that I want to change or not feel so. I can still be introverted at times, but I make a choice. I say, okay, I recognize that makes me feel introverted. I recognize that makes me feel insecure. How can let me accept that, and how can I take control of it instead of it taking control of me? That is so that is the
self-awareness.
Key. Yes, self-awareness. That is the key.
I love that. So how did you become a trainer with Davina then?
So at Third Space again, and that's why I'm so grateful for all the work I did at Third Space, because I got to. So many different opportunities came from it. I worked with amazing people. It was just the best time. Anyway, Davina had booked out the studio to do, she was collaborating with a fitness brand. And so when I got the email from the operations manager saying, oh, Faye, is studio free? Davina McCall's coming to do this. I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, oh my gosh, I have always loved Davina from Big Brother days, and especially Street Mate. Growing up, Street Mate, and my mum used to call me and my sister at the bottom of the stairs if we were upstairs, and she would say, "Faye and Zoe, Street Mate," and she would say it in that voice, Street Mate, and we run down the stairs to watch Street Mate. And then even her workout videos, her DVDs, I used to do at home. And Big Brother, when it first came out, I was just obsessed with watching it. Loved her presenting. So when she was coming into work, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so starstruck. Anyway, she came in and I was like, hi, acting all cool and professional, but inside I'm screaming. And then when she left, it was she just acknowledged me. She didn't have to, because it was kind of like a walking past thing. And I said, oh, is everything all right? And we just got talking. And then I followed her on social media that day. She followed me back. And she started to see my Fit Jam videos. And by coincidence, the fitness studio she attends, the person who managed that, I know as well. So she got hold of me and said, oh, Faye, why don't you come to Studio SPN and come and do a masterclass for us? Davina wants to do your class. And then that was it. Set up this class. Davina came, loads of people took videos, and then it was in the Daily Mail, oh, Davina twerking. And that was it. It was a match made in heaven. Then I got the opportunity to work for her app, because on her fitness app, Own Your Goals, she wants all her own personal trainers that she knows, so everyone she has a connection with, or has seen and like genuinely loves their work. So I've been working on that platform for the last maybe just over 2 years now, and over the years we've become really good friends, and
you can see that you've got such great synergy with each other, and you have so much fun, and that comes across amazing. So well. And
she's just what you see is what you get, and you know we've celebrated birthdays with her. She knows my mum, and it's just a beautiful friendship. I'm so grateful for, and yeah, she's just given me so much opportunities, and she's been such a support for my work, and yeah, she's just been great. I love that. Yeah,
I love that so much. So I've got 2 closing questions for you. So you've probably heard this question. What advice would you give to your younger self? So we're going to flip that.
Yes,
so if your younger self was sitting next to you now, and it could be any age, what would they say to you, or what advice would they give to you?
What would they say to me?
It could be absolutely anything.
That I feel like my younger self would like do a dance. Go Faye, go Faye. Hey, yeah, I do feel that my younger self would do a little bit of celebrating, and would also say, remember to stay present. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, keeping it simple.
And so with this podcast, it's about having meaningful conversations, connections, and finding opportunities where we can connect and grow and learn from each other. So, have you got an idea of someone that you think would be a good guest on this podcast? If you have, don't say their name. Just give some reasons as to why you think this person will be a good guest, and hopefully we can make that connection happen. Davina McCall.
I know. Everyone's going to think I'm going to say Davina McCall. Like, she is a good guest for any podcast. There's somebody else I have in mind. She is an amazing athlete, had a big career as an athlete, and has been through a lot of challenges in her life, and she has recently shared something that's been very personal to her, that she's never shared, like a secret, let's say, that she's been hiding. She's in the public eye, and she's been keeping to herself. And letting go of that has relieved a huge weight off her shoulders, because the reason why she kept it to her, because there's so many, it could have affected her job, her work, her livelihood, all the things that she worked hard for, and she would receive a lot of judgment. She's had to deal with grief as well. So she's just dealt with so much challenges in her life. Her mindset has been just so strong. She's always just got up after every fall. And recently she'd done a documentary that I had the privilege of going to be at the premiere of, and there was not a dry eye, because you could just really feel all the pain she went through, and just getting out on the other side, and how many people she has inspired. She's so inspirational, it's unreal. And I'm actually going to send this to her and let her know she should be a guest on this podcast and come and talk to you, because she's just got an amazing story that so many people will be inspired by.
Oh, well, let's see if we can make that happen.
Yes.
And just before we go, so when we were first talking about this podcast, something else that you said, because you've used the word gratitude and grateful a lot, and I can sense and I can feel that that's something that's very apparent and something that you really believe in, and you practice that gratitude, which is beautiful to see and witness. But one of the things that you said in your email, you were like, I want to come on your podcast, but there's so many people who've gone through far worse things. And I remember saying to you, it's not about the scale or the magnitude of the severity of the obstacle or struggle, because I think it's really important that when we have these conversations and we're sharing experiences, it's always going to resonate with someone. And I've had such the pleasure of listening to you today. And one thing that I'm going to take away from this conversation is that I need to practice gratitude a lot more and be present a lot more. I'm constantly thinking the next thing all the time. And it shouldn't take like a pandemic or an illness or something for us to all realise that, you know, this one life that we have is so precious. And then we need to be thankful for the little things as well as the big things, but it's the little things more so. Thank you, because that's really made me think about gratitude in a different way. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do. Please continue to do it because we need Faye. We need Faye.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Come back, yeah?
I will.
Yay!